Some retirees are quietly unlocking a loophole that lets them live in paradise without giving up a single US benefit. No passport, no visa, no paperwork. These aren't foreign countries. They're American territories where your Social Security still deposits, Medicare still works, and your dollars spend like they do back home. Meanwhile, the average one-bedroom apartment in Florida now runs over $2,000 a month. HOAs have doubled. Property taxes in Texas have surged 40% in some counties since 2020. A fixed income was never supposed to mean a shrinking lifestyle. Today, I'm counting down all 10. Before I get into it, please subscribe. It would mean a lot. American Samoa sits in the South Pacific, halfway between Hawaii and New Zealand, and it's the most culturally intact place under the US flag. No high-rises, no cruise ships. Real Polynesian life is governed by the Fea Samoa, the Samoan way. Monthly costs run roughly $1,500 per person. Rent can be as low as $400, $600. Medicare Part A and B are valid. English is widely spoken, but healthcare is limited. The LBJ hospital handles routine care. Anything complex means a 5-hour flight to Hawaii. Internet is slow. Imported goods carry a premium. And American Samoans are US nationals, not citizens. You can't vote in federal elections while living there. If you want rock-bottom costs and a slow pace of life, it delivers. Just know the remoteness cuts both ways. Wake Island is a U.S. Air Force base, a tiny coral atoll with roughly 100 people, all military or contractors. No housing market, no grocery store, no retirement community. The only way to live here is to work here. Fascinating, yes. A retirement option? Not remotely. Moving on. Midway, famous for Wuti's Pacific Turning Point, is now a wildlife refuge run by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. About 40 biologists and staff live there year-round. No permanent residences for private citizens, strictly controlled access. Great for albatrosses, not for retirees. Next. Now we're talking. Saipan, the main island, is one of the most overlooked retirement gems in the American system. Turquoise water, white sand, and prices that make mainlanders do a double take. A 2-bedroom home averages $200,000 to purchase. Rents for a 3-bedroom run, $950 to $1,300 a month. A comfortable couple's budget lands around $2,000, $2,500. Compare that to Florida, where the same lifestyle runs $4,000 to $5,000. Social Security deposits without interruption. Medicare, Part A and B are valid. English is official, no territorial income tax, and property taxes are among the lowest under the US flag. The trade-offs: it's remote. Flights to the mainland are long and expensive. Healthcare is adequate, but not comprehensive. But for a healthy retiree wanting island living on a reasonable budget, Saipan deserves a serious look. Guam is what happens when you take American infrastructure, drop it on a tropical island, and add a Chamorro soul. Unlike the smaller territories, Guam has modern hospitals, reliable internet, American shopping, and a military presence that anchors the economy. A couple lives comfortably on $2,500 to $3,500 a month. One-bedroom rents range $1,200 to $1,800, above Saipan, but still below most mainland coastal cities. No state income tax, exceptionally low property taxes. Medicare fully operational. The beaches rival Hawaii. Tumen Bay alone is spectacular. The climate is warm year-round. The trade-offs: it's a 9-hour flight to Hawaii. Typhoons are a seasonal reality, and imported goods carry markups. But for retirees who want island life with American healthcare and American law, few places deliver like Guam. Puerto Rico deserves its own video. Over 3 million people, modern hospitals, international airports, Costco, and for the right retiree, profound financial advantages. A couple lives well on $2,000 to $3,000 a month outside San Juan. Rents in coastal towns like Rincon or Aguadilla run $800 to $1,200, roughly half of Miami or Tampa. The headline Act 60 allows qualifying new residents to pay 0% on Puerto Rico-sourced passive income, including dividends and interest. Though as of 2026, new applicants pay 4% on Puerto Rico-sourced dividends. Capital gains accrued after moving are taxed favorably. You still file a federal return, but the combined savings can dramatically reduce your tax burden. Medicare works. Hospitals in San Juan compare to good mainland facilities. Spanish is dominant, but English is widely spoken in business and medical settings. The downsides: infrastructure is inconsistent. Hurricane season requires preparation. San Juan proper is expensive, and the IRS has increased scrutiny of Act 60 filers. Proper tax guidance is non-negotiable, but for warm weather, rich culture, American protections, and a legitimate path to paying far less in taxes, Puerto Rico isn't just an option. For many, it's the best option. If Puerto Rico is the practical choice, the USVI is the postcard. St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John form a Caribbean trio, where the water really is that color. The honest truth, it's not cheap. A nice condo runs $1,500 and up monthly, plus $601,000 in condo fees. Groceries and electricity are expensive. A realistic budget is $3,000, $4,500 per couple, not rock bottom. But if you're paying $4,000 for a one-bedroom in coastal California, paying $3,000 to live on St. Croix, no winter, no state income tax, the Caribbean Sea outside your window is a genuine upgrade. Medicare Part A and B are accepted, though certain Medicare Advantage networks may not apply. St. Croix has the most affordable housing and a strong expat retiree community. If you have the resources for Caribbean living without leaving the American system, this is as good as it gets. Palmyra is the only incorporated territory in the American system. The Constitution applies in full. It's a stunning ring of islets 1,000 miles south of Hawaii, with pristine reefs and dense tropical vegetation. It is also uninhabitable for private citizens, owned by the Nature Conservancy and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, with no housing, no infrastructure, no commercial flights. It represents the absolute edge case of what's possible under the American flag. You just can't live there. Jarvis, Howland, Baker, Kingman Reef, Johnston Atoll, Navassa Island, all U.S. territories with zero permanent populations. Most are wildlife refuges or former military sites. None have housing, healthcare, or civilian infrastructure. They exist for maritime law and strategic purposes. For retirement planning, they don't exist at all. Here's the twist. The best forgotten territory for most retirees isn't an island. It's the low-cost mainland counties most people dismiss without looking. The biggest financial variable in retirement isn't where you live. It's what surprises you after you move. A territory can save you thousands a month. It can also cost you tens of thousands if you need a medical evacuation or can't handle the isolation. The retirees who win treat relocation as a financial decision first and a lifestyle fantasy second. Before you book a flight to Saipan or St. Croix, run the real numbers, your actual monthly budget with a 15% buffer for island premiums. Then investigate low-cost mainland counties within 2 hours of where you are now. You might find the affordable retirement you're searching for hiding 20 miles away. And if the numbers still point to a territory, go. The USVI, Puerto Rico, Guam, Saipan, real places where real retirees are living well for less. Just go with your eyes open and your spreadsheet ready.
You spent 2 years researching the perfect country to retire abroad. You watched every video. You joined every Facebook group. You picked your city. Then you find out the visa rules changed and your numbers don't work anymore. In 2026, at least 7 countries popular with American retirees updated their requirements. Income thresholds rose, tax breaks vanished. One country closed its most popular retirement program entirely and replaced it with something most Americans haven't even heard about. If you're making a life-changing decision on 2023 YouTube videos, you're making it with bad data. Before I reveal them, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything new. Let's start with good news. Panama's Pensionado visa still requires just $1,000 a month in lifetime pension income. No property purchase, no investment. In 2025, they expanded qualifying income sources and streamlined the process, and they've signaled no intention of raising the threshold. The discount program everyone loves, 25% off utilities, 20% off medical, is untouched. The thing most videos skip, healthcare is world-class in Panama City. Once you're 2 hours into the mountains, your nearest hospital might be an hour away. Plan for that. Bottom line, Panama is still the simplest, cheapest, most stable retirement visa in the Western Hemisphere. Thailand overhauled its long-term resident visa in 2024. The new LTR requires either $80,000 in annual income, $500,000 in Thai assets, or $100,000 in income, plus a master's degree. For the standard OA retirement visa, the one most retirees actually use, you now need to park 800,000 baht, about $23,000, in a Thai bank account. That hasn't changed. But But financial scrutiny on applications has intensified, and Thailand is steering new arrivals toward the higher barrier LTR. The reality: Thailand is still incredibly affordable once you're there. But the government wants wealthier, higher-skilled, long-term residents. If you're retiring on Social Security with no significant cash reserve, Thailand in 2026 is harder to qualify for than it was 2 years ago. This is the one that hurts. Portugal ended its non-habitual resident tax regime, the NHR, for new applicants in 2024. That was the program that let foreign retirees pay 10% or zero Portuguese tax on U.S. pension income for 10 years. Gone. Then, in 2025, they raised the D7 visa income threshold to $870 a month, roughly $940 for a single applicant. For couples, about $1,305 or $1,400 a month. There's a replacement program, NHR 2.0, also called IFESI, but it's for tech workers, scientists, and startup founders, not retirees living on a pension. Portugal is still beautiful, safe, and affordable. But the tax advantage that made it the obvious choice for so many Americans is gone, and the income threshold is climbing. If your Portugal plan was built on 2022 videos, you need to rerun the math. More Americans live in Mexico than any other foreign country, over 1.5 million. The temporary resident visa is straightforward, about $4,500 in monthly income or $75,000 in savings. Those numbers didn't change. What did change? Mexico's Immigration Authority, the INM, is increasingly restricting new temporary resident applicants to inland destinations. Coastal areas, Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta are seeing more rejections. It's not formalized policy, but immigration attorneys across the country are reporting the same pattern. Second change, Mexico's tax authority, the SAT, is scrutinizing foreign residents' worldwide income more aggressively. You become a Mexican tax resident after 183 days in the country, and Mexico wants to know about your IRA distributions, 401k withdrawals, and U.S. rental income. Hire a cross-border accountant before you move. Ecuador's pensioner visa requires just $450 a month in lifetime pension income. $450. It's the lowest threshold in the entire Western Hemisphere. The visa didn't change. But in late 2024, Ecuador suffered severe rolling blackouts. Some areas went 14 hours without power. The government responded by raising the VAT from 12% to 15% in April 2025. That's a permanent price increase on everything you buy. The number on the visa application is still $450. But the lived experience, higher prices, energy instability, political uncertainty shifted meaningfully. Thousands of American retirees live happily in Cuenca and Quito. But if Ecuador is on your list, go spend a month, not a week. The spreadsheet looks great. The reality matters more. Spain's non-lucrative visa still requires about $2,800 a year in passive income, roughly $31,000. The threshold is indexed to a government index called IPREM, so it rises slightly each year. The bigger story, in April 2025, Spain announced it's ending the Golden Visa, the program granting residency for a $500,000 property purchase, effective early 2026. At the same time, Spain is expanding its digital nomad visa and prioritizing working-age remote workers. What this means for retirees: the non-lucrative visa still exists, but Spain's immigration energy is shifting toward younger, tax-contributing residents. Health insurance requirements are being reviewed more aggressively. Applications are getting more scrutiny. One potential upside: the Golden Visa phase-out could soften coastal property prices by late 2026. If you're a cash buyer, the timing might actually work in your favor. Colombia's pensionado visa requires about $940 a month in pension income, tied to 3 times the Colombian minimum wage. That's up from roughly $860. The threshold rises whenever the minimum wage does, and Colombia has been aggressively raising wages. Colombia also introduced a new digital nomad visa and modernized its entire visa framework in 2025. Processing times are improving, but the pensionado threshold is now indexed to a rising wage floor. As Colombia's economy grows, so does the cost of entry. Medellin, Cartagena, and Bogotá have growing expat communities, and prices in the best neighborhoods are climbing. Colombia is still a bargain, one of the best deals in the world. But it's not a hidden gem anymore, and the window for getting in at today's costs is narrowing. You spent 40 years paying taxes. You paid into Social Security. You built a nest egg. You played by every rule they gave you, and retirement was supposed to be the victory lap. But here's the thing, nobody tells you before you move. Some state governments look at a retiree on a fixed income the exact same way a pickpocket looks at a tourist. You're carrying something they want, and they know exactly how to take it without you even feeling it. We're talking about the beloved tax-free havens, the ones everyone says are perfect for retirement, that are quietly draining pension accounts dry through back doors you never saw coming. Zero state income tax, great music, Southern charm. Sounds perfect, right? But then you go grocery shopping. Tennessee runs one of the highest combined sales tax rates in the entire country, often sitting near 10%. And yes, they tax groceries, not prepared food at a restaurant. Actual groceries, milk, bread, eggs. Every single supermarket trip punches a hole in a fixed budget. Stack that on top of exploding housing costs in Nashville and Knoxville, where rents have shot up faster than almost anywhere else in the South, and Tennessee stops looking like a bargain pretty fast. The bait is real. The squeeze is just hidden in the cereal aisle. No income tax, warm weather, entertainment everywhere. Easy choice, right? But get this, car insurance in Nevada ranks among the most expensive in the country. The average sales tax sits at 8.24%. And air conditioning in desert heat doesn't run cheap. Summer utility bills can look like a second rent payment. Then there's the neighborhood problem. Truly affordable housing in safe areas is genuinely hard to find. Retirees are getting priced into parts of town where the safety stats don't exactly scream golden years. Nevada baits you with the neon lights. The bill comes later. Stunning, safe, strong economy. People love it. But Utah is one of a small handful of states that still actively taxes Social Security benefits. Your federal safety net, the money withheld from every paycheck for your entire working life, Utah takes a cut of it. And home prices in Utah have climbed so far that most retirees on fixed income can't touch the market without wiping out their savings. Beautiful state, genuinely beautiful. But a state government that taxes your Social Security while home prices push you out is not your friend in retirement. Live free or die. That's the actual state motto. No income tax, no sales tax. Sounds like paradise. But New Hampshire has the 3rd highest property tax rate in the entire country. A modest, nothing special home can carry a property tax bill that pushes into 5 figures every single year. $10,000 just for owning the house. Then winter arrives. Heating costs in New Hampshire are brutal. Utility rates are high. The income tax you saved? Gone. Gone to property taxes and the heating bill. The state didn't rob you loudly. It robbed you quietly, every single month, all winter long. No income tax, and some of the most gorgeous scenery in the country. Sold. But Washington has the highest gas prices in the nation, and there's a trap sitting at the end of your life that most retirees never see coming. Washington's estate tax goes up to 20%. 20. The wealth you spent decades building, the money you plan to leave your children, Washington can take up to a fifth of it before it ever reaches them. If leaving something behind matters to you, Washington is quietly one of the most dangerous states in the country. No income tax. Wide open spaces. This one's practically a retirement cliche at this point, but Texas property taxes regularly run above 1.8%. You own your home outright. You paid it off. Congratulations. Now pay Texas thousands of dollars every single year just for the right to keep living in it. On top of that, reassessments can spike your bill without warning. And when the power grid fails in a winter storm, which it has, utility costs go through the roof, paying a paid-off house like rent to the state. That's the Texas retirement nobody puts in the brochure. Affordable Midwest housing prices. That's the pitch. But Illinois has the second highest property tax rate in the country at 2.27%. The affordable house comes with an expensive annual bill just to own it. Toll roads cover almost every major route. Gas taxes are massive. And Illinois has a financial management track record so historically bad that the next local tax hike is never a matter of if, it's always a matter of when. The house looked cheap on Zillow. The state will make you pay for that mistake slowly, year after year. Beaches, proximity to New York and Philadelphia, cultural and coastal living. But New Jersey holds the single highest property tax rate in America. Retirees routinely pay $10,000 to $15,000 a year just in property taxes on a normal suburban home, not a mansion. A regular house in the suburbs. And then New Jersey taxes most forms of retirement income on top of that. Then it charges you tolls on almost every major road. New Jersey doesn't pick your pocket. It holds you upside down and shakes everything out. Perfect weather, enormous economy, the dream. But California's median home price is approaching $1 million. The state income tax hits 13.3%, the highest in the country. Your 401k, your IRA, your pension. California taxes all of it. Gas taxes are the highest in the nation. Basic groceries cost more than almost anywhere else in the U.S. California doesn't rob you in one place. It takes a little from everywhere, all the time, until you add it up and realize the dream lifestyle quietly cost you everything you saved to afford it. The American retirement dream. Beaches. Golf. Zero income tax. The most recommended state in every retirement article ever written. But the property insurance market in Florida has essentially collapsed. Premiums that used to cost $1,500 a year now routinely cost $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 a year or more. Some insurers have left the state entirely. And then came the condo law. New structural reserve requirements hit Florida condo owners with sudden special assessments, sometimes $20,000 or more, just to keep their buildings legally compliant. Retirees are getting these bills in the mail with no warning and no way out. Zero income tax is real. But when insurance and HOA fees drain your account by $1,000 a month, that tax savings disappears before you can spend it. Moving, because a state has no income tax, is the fastest way to go broke in retirement. That single number hides a dozen other ways a state government gets your money. Now you know which states to avoid. But here's the next question. Where should you actually go? Click the video on your screen right now. We break down the 10 states that will actually protect your retirement in 2026. The ones where your money genuinely lasts. See you there.